Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz, and this is my weekly Houston Texans review called Bullheaded. Basically, I'm just going over topics relating to the team as well as previewing the games that they have coming up this week. So, with that being said, I actually want to glance over the Miami Dolphins debacle that happened this past Sunday, and basically one where we just straight up stunk. We sucked. We did not show up, and you can tell from both sides of the ball that there was just a lack of energy and effort, and whatever it doesn't help to say like which strategy that Texans should have used or anything like that. It was just a bad display and an embarrassment for the franchise. To top it all off, our backup quarterback didn't even show up to the he showed up to the game, but he missed his flight on the way to the game. Like, how crazy is that? He missed his flight because of traffic. And if you've lived in Houston more than 3 weeks, then you know wherever you go, more than likely there's going to be traffic, especially on a weekend. Now, I don't know if he left on a Saturday or if he left on a Friday, but pretty much you're going to run into some traffic in a lot of the main streets. So, the team has rectified that. They've cut Mallett, which is a good thing. And that's actually our first topic of this bullheaded session. For a long time, people have Ryan Mallett has pretty much been a mystery, to this franchise ever since he got here last season. We thought last year he played in a couple games and everybody thought maybe this might be a pretty decent quarterback, and it turns out that he was nothing. I mean, it looks like he had a good skill set and everything, but at the same time, his attitude, I believe, is what really caused his downfall. Apparently, this wasn't even the first time he was late. If you remember back in August during the preseason, he was late a day after he found out that he wasn't going to be the starter for the upcoming season or for this current season. And then apparently there are reports saying that he's just been late like quite a few times, even during the off season and probably during last season. So I mean, definitely, man, the NFL is just like any other job. You got to have the right attitude to come to work and come prepared to do your job. And if you're not going to do that, then, you need to go ahead and find another team, or you need to find yourself another profession. Now, speaking of another debacle, which is surprisingly our second biggest story of the week, Arian Foster is out for the season. He suffered an Achilles injury in the fourth quarter of Sunday's game. And a lot of people are criticizing Bill O'Brien for that because they're saying that, hey, he more than likely should not have been in the game, given the score the way it was, and given the nature of the game. So he's out for the season, and so far our only running backs at the moment are Chris Polk, Alfred Blue, Jonathan Grimes, and Texas is just gonna have to rely on those guys. And I really want them to go out and actually sign another running back, whether it be Ray Rice or I think another name that was thrown around was Monty Ball or something. But, at the moment, we're looking at some real troubling times when it comes to our running back situation right now. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and get right into the game against the Tennessee Titans. So, after a 2-game road trip, the Texans are going to come back home, host the Titans, and they have a little bit of an edge given that quarterback Marcus Mariota is out. I believe it's a knee injury. Now, when I was looking up this game to see what the Texans can do to win, I thought it was going to be just a pretty much slam dunk, open and shut case, just show up at the stadium and you're good. Well, that's half the thing. The Titans post top 5 defense statistically, and even though they're 1-5, it's still a pretty good defense. They also have a pretty great pass defense. Their pass defense is number 2 in the league at the moment. Right behind the Denver Broncos. So definitely, I think one of the keys that the Texans will have to have. I just mentioned a couple seconds ago about Texas going to have to show up. Yes, their defense is definitely going to have to show up. The Texans' defense is going to have to show up and provide themselves and put themselves as an equalizer to that Titans offense. Zach Mettenberger is going to be the starter, and he's freshly starting, his season. He hasn't play much behind Marcus Mariota. So what they're going to need to do is pretty much just force turnovers as much as they can, uh, just like they did against Jacksonville a couple weeks ago. They're going to need to force they're going to need to force turnovers against the Tennessee Titans, and create opportunities with short field advantage. I think that's really going to be key, because I mean, if it's one thing for a secondary to have like the whole field to defend, it's probably a couple of mistakes that they can make, or it's probably a little bit of laziness they can use for as far as like the cornerbacks letting the safeties handle everything. But it's another thing if you have them pressed up in their own red zone like multiple times, or if you have them back on the field, after a long drive or whatever. So definitely, I think the key is going to be wearing down that secondary when by creating turnovers and keeping them on the field as much as possible. Now, the second and most obvious way you can actually keep the defense on the field and wear down secondaries is through the running game. Now, as I mentioned, Arian Foster is out, but however, Chris Polk, Jonathan Grimes, Alfred Blue, those guys that can still, hit the hole and everything, hit the outside if they need to, and just wear down, the front line of the Titans defense, as well as eventually wear down, get to the secondary and wear them down through them trying to tackle all these big running backs or whatever. So those will definitely be the two things to kind of open up, to kind of those will be the two things to beat the Tennessee Titans tomorrow. As far as our passing game, Hopkins is healthy, Washington's healthy, Cecil Shorts is going to be out. In our secondary, Kareem Jackson is going to be out as well, and I think Akeem Dent is going to be out as far as the linebackers go. J.J. Watt is questionable with a back injury, and Jadeveon Clowney is probable, and I think it's, with the ankle. So more than likely, it looks like Watt and Clowney will be available for the game. The way it's looking, the way they described it for JJ, it's probably going to be real tough for him to play, and I don't know how up to speed he'll actually be. So that'll probably be a little bit of concern for me as well as the rest of the team, is like how he can, just if he has to get up and go to actually get after Mettenberger. But at the same time, J.J. Watt is not the entire Houston Texans team, so that is where the linebackers need to step up. Cushing, Clowney, those guys need to actually step up and, get after Mettenberger, crash the line and get after those running backs as well, especially Clowney. He got his first sack last week, but obviously it was overshadowed by everything that was going on. So, with that being said, I just want to leave off with this. This week after this game, the Texans will have their bye week. So hopefully, yes, the Tennessee Titans, but like I said, their statistics show that they are a team that can actually, they can probably steal a couple wins, and you don't want to be the team, especially the Texans do not want to be the team that got beat by the Titans, especially in the season that we're having right now. So every win that we can get over a division opponent, considering how weak this division is going to be definitely crucial. So like I said, they need to go in there. They need to show up and put effort into their defense. No more missed tackles. No more blown assignments. They need to look like they are prepared to play football. They're going to be playing in front of their home crowd, who's already been angry at some of the things that have been going on with this team so far this season. So they need to come through and put a smile on this crowd's face. But other than that, that's all I have for this week. Holla.